Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy Combs, you have just gotten a crushing defeat. You have just gotten a crushing defeat. The Judge Aaron, has effectively eliminated any chance you have right now of getting a mistrial. You guys, why is this so important? Because legal experts have been saying that Diddy seems to be trying to position himself so he can get some type of plea deal, some type of plea agreement. Remember that all legal experts pretty much agree. You go against the United States government, 99% of the time you are going to lose. They have Diddy locked in their sights. And what's more, when you ask the question, did he do it? The answer usually is, heck yeah, he did. You guys, first let's get into the judge's ruling. The prosecutors got a huge win. This is foreshadowing and foreboding for how his trial's going to go. If Diddy thought that his campaign to ossificate, his campaign to media smear campaign was going to work on United States Court of Laws, baby, you can leave that stuff in page 6 in the New York Post because nobody is trying to hear that. Let's get that. Let's get into this, all right? Okay, where do we start? Let's just skip to the good part. Okay, here we are. Oh God, it's so bad for Diddy. Okay, here we are. He has rejected Sean Diddy Combs. I'm sorry, Judge Aaron has rejected Sean Diddy Combs' request for an evidentiary hearing on alleged government leaks. He says there is zero indication that federal agents gave CNN the video of Diddy assaulting Cassie in the hallway. Now, let me just say this, right? A lot of Diddy supporters were like, oh, yeah, he's going to get the government. Do you guys not see? Do you not see the material? Do you not see the source? Diddy has his team scouring social media. Diddy's reading social media because when people started saying, and this is where being in a circle chamber never works, when people started saying, oh my God, how'd they get that? I think the government gave it to them. Where else would they get that? I don't know where else, Diddy. You're the one that was giving out copies. Why don't you answer the question? But the government said, we would never. No, I don't know. Maybe it got from a government adjacent source. But the government said, we are not sloppy. Diddy has been making plays in court based on what he sees on social media. But I will tell you, if Diddy's legal team is doing that, maybe they do know that there's an ounce of truth in certain things on social media. I'm just saying. They said the court is sensitive to Diddy's concern about the publication of stories claiming to disclose inside information about this case from an unnamed federal law enforcement sources who are involved in the investigation. The court has already taken steps in this regard, see docket 50, and is open to tailored applications for release as this case continues. The court once again reminds the government and its agents that if specific information comes to light showing that they leaked prohibited information, action will be taken. And the court reminds the public that whether the government can prove Diddy's guilt in this case will turn on the evidence presented at trial, not in the trial by newspapers. Cases are often tried in newspapers before they are tried in court, and the cast of characters in the newspaper trial are often differs greatly from the real person who appear in trial in court and who may have suffered its distorted consequences. Yeah, I get that, but let me tell you what the judge is saying, right? The judge is reminding the public that no matter what is said or printed on social media, she is going by, and the jury will go by the facts presented from the defense attorney and from the prosecution. Baby, a lot of people say that was like the government, the judge smacking down the prosecution. In my opinion, it absolutely was not. She already reminded the prosecution. The prosecution is like, it's cool because as we stated in our last denial of Diddy's bail motion, Diddy's the one running to the papers. Diddy's the one pushing false narratives. We've been chilling, investigating, doing what we need to do, right? Listen, the judge was like, "Oh, word? Have y'all really? Hold on, let me check." The judge came back and said, "You know what? I checked. You're right. It's cool. But hold on, because we still might have to work with a mistrial because Diddy's team are grasping with straws. And I need to put everybody on notice that I'm not playing around because when I try this case, my rule will be final and you will not get me on any sort of impropriety, any sort of playing favorites, or any of your concerns. They're saying they're concerns, but they're really saying that there are violations to the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment. Any of these concerns will be addressed duly in a court of law. Basically, the judge took away any of Diddy's heir for legal room when the trial's over, and in my opinion, he's inevitably found guilty. My opinion, they are going to make sure that Diddy can't get a retrial because the judge followed everything to the letter of the law. They put people on notice. Every little cockamamie story that it seems like Mark Agnifilo came up with, Diddy's team was like, "Oh, guess what? They only gave us one serving of macaroni and cheese, and the commissary today of not two. And I ordered chicken oodles and noodles, and they gave me spicy beef." The judge is addressing it because she's not leaving them room to breathe. A lot of people think, oh, well, at least the judge is taking Diddy seriously. The judge has to take every defendant seriously. It's actually their job description. Again, this is a stunning defeat for Diddy. He can no longer try to say that first of all, he was crazy to even suggest it. But you know what? He's facing life in prison. I might do the same thing too. I mean, I wouldn't be in there for any sex trafficking or anything weird, but if I was facing life in prison, baby, watch how my creative writing classes in third grade would really get active and be of good use. Again, this will be tried in the court of law. This is good because the prosecution seems to have facts on their side. It will not be tried in newspapers. Diddy is the one that wants this tried in newspapers. Low key, I think the judge might have even been sneak dissing Diddy because in all of the government's previous motions, so at least the last three, they are saying that Diddy has some nerve talking about jury tampering when he's the one pushing stories. He's the one that's pushing false narratives. He's the one that's trying to put on a public image. And he's not even doing it. He's getting his children involved and he's getting associates that are not his legal counsel involved in it as well. So where are we at? Diddy's in a world of hurt. Really quick, I did a video about it earlier, but I just want to talk about this whole thing about the plea agreement. A lot of people, when I posted that video, were like, Tisa, what are you talking about? He hasn't even gotten all his charges filed. Listen, there is a limit, a time limit that I believe is coming up sometime in December or January for the government to file a superseding indictment. The government can't file, well, I mean, maybe. The government said, I believe in an earlier court thing, sometime in November, I believe that they would have the superseding indictments by a certain time. Okay? But you guys don't understand. You can't be going to war with the government. And when the superseding indictments come, you're like, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. No, I love your mom. I don't even know why I called out your name. You cannot just be like, you know what? I was just testing you. When you are moving to some type of cooperation or plea agreement, and again, the thing with a plea agreement is to get the judge to feel like, to get the prosecutor to feel like you aren't an adversary and you can deliver important information that they could not deliver on their own. You can give them important information that they would have no way of getting on their own. Again, you need to exchange something for value. And if they look like you're cooperating and you haven't gotten on their last nerve, they may offer you a favorable plea agreement. Now listen, a favorable plea agreement for Diddy ain't gonna be him getting out some Young Thug stuff with time served. A favorable plea agreement for Diddy would be you gonna be able to celebrate your 85th birthday with baby love. So there's levels to this stuff. Now, back then, and also Diddy might be counting his coins to still see if he can angle to get a pardon either from the current president or the future president. Okay? Biden, anyway, right? And Trump, we're not talking about politics. I'm just saying, I do not know if Biden or Trump would ever give Diddy a pardon. But you guys are missing the point. That doesn't mean that Diddy won't try. This man has audacity. This man has no shame. Do you honestly think he'll sit there and be like, oh, I don't deserve to go in front of Biden. I don't deserve to go in front of Trump. He'll never feel that. He's always going to ask, going to push, and try to see what he can get out of it. Okay. But back to this plea agreement. Okay, he's pulling back all his arguments and he's trying to get on the prosecution's good side. So, what's the piece missing? The piece missing is what information can you give them that they could not get themselves? I don't know. If I was Diddy's associates, I would be very, very worried. Because the same way Diddy is trying to act like he's a victim of Cassie, and Cassie was in on this mess from the jump, and this, that, and the third. Well, baby, that's the same way I think he will act around and try to paint a picture around anyone he can throw under the bus to buy his freedom. Again, it's just my opinion. Everybody looking up bloggers and TikTok and this and that and mad because they're trying to take down their fave when the real threat to everything is coming inside of the Manhattan District, Manhattan MDC, District Correctional Facility, or whatever you call it, is coming from the MDC. Y'all, I'm telling you, as Diddy realizes that he is not getting out, baby, that's when he's literally going to start throwing everyone and anyone he can under the bus, right? Again, Diddy is not just a businessman, he's a businessman. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.